I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Directors for December 20th. And roll call, please. I'm sorry, I called the other one first. Pledge of Allegiance. You're up again, Mr. Martin.
To a day. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, sir.
You can never say the pledge too much.
No, you cannot. And now, we'll do the roll call.
Director Elgar?
Here.
Director Evans? Here. Director Martin?
Present.
Director Snell?
Here.
Director Manley?
Here,
Thank you.
and we will not pass the adoption of the agenda this time.
Move for approval.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? There we go. Public comment on any other items that are not on the agenda? Seeing none, we're moving on. The consent calendar. I would entertain a
Move to
motion.
approve?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Very good. Action items. 2.1, consideration of adjustment of the general manager's employment salary.
Do you have the memo over there? It's not loading up on my machine. Sorry. The technology. Yes, the board and general manager entered into the employment agreement on October 4th, 2016. And Section 3 of that agreement provides that in the discretion of the board, you can provide merit increases. And earlier this month, the board conducted an annual evaluation, performance evaluation of the GM. And in follow-up to that, we've attached for board consideration and possible action is the second amendment to the general manager's employment agreement. And the amendment reflects an 8% merit increase effective January 2018, which results in a salary of $233,539. In addition, when the district changes any of its salary ranges, we're informed that CalPERS requires a new pay schedule to be approved, so that's also with this, there's a resolution that the board would also need to consider if they move forward with the adjustment.
Can we do those together, or do we have to do them separately?
I think I would go ahead and do them separately.
All right? Very good. I do have a speaker, and let the public speaker go ahead. Mike Hutzecker.
Mike Hunsaker, 115 Equestrian Court, San Marcos, and I wish all of you a very merry, politically incorrect Christmas.
Amen, brother.
Merry
Christmas back at you.
And I hope your New Year celebrations are happy. And from the looks of it, our general manager has got plenty of reason to be pleased, and apparently I believe that you have the utmost confidence in him and are pleased with his performance and has given him this increase based on that. I had no real comment on the increase itself. It was just that the table that was amended, I couldn't quite figure it out. It's been a while since I've had a paycheck, but when I look at age, I, and range, not see any figures as to what these units represent, it is very confusing. So the benefit of all of us public, I'd like to have that explained. Thank you.
Yes.
Do you want to let that staff get with Mr. Hutzecker and explain those initials?
I'd be happy to do that now or later offline with Mr. Hunsaker, whatever the board would like.
Director Martin?
Something. This was brought up by at least one of us or two of us at the last hearing that we had, is this should be easier for the public to read. And I do believe that's something we need to change before we see it again. Show a yearly salary, show the range, make it easy to read, PERS will accept it if it's easier. You know, I don't think, this is very confusing and too hard for people to understand. And I think they need to understand exactly what people are making and what their ranges are. So I'd like to see that happen before we see this again. So I don't know if I have agreement with the board or not to make this easier to read, but I think it should be.
I think that's easily done. So directed?
Yeah.
Very good.
So, just for clarification purposes, it sounds like you'd like to see things in an annual salary, not a, this is monthly, so this table shows monthly salary. As it's titled that, and monthly pay schedule. So the numbers you see are monthly pays per position, so
I-
but it's, go ahead, sorry.
I think it would be helpful if it just had a statement. I don't think there's anything wrong with it showing, we may not know what the range, actually, that number means when it says range 59 and 64.5.
Right.
But the steps, obviously, that's progression of, from, with experience and education.
Correct.
So you move A, B, C, D, and then you get to HI, is that correct? So
Correct.
I would think there would be a way of simply explaining that, even if you use the same, you know, so that lets us know what they are.
We can
Let
s-
the public know.
We can certainly do that, so the next time we bring this forward to the board, we'll try to put it in a different format.
And based on some of the other documents that we've had revised, and I wonder if we could have a review of that before we finalize it, so that we don't have to keep going back and forth.
Absolutely.
It seems appropriate.
Is there a committee you'd like that, to delegate that to?
I
or just
don't
bring it
think-
forward to the board?
I don't personally
I
believe
don't
we
think
need
we
to.
We'll just bring it forward as a
Just
board
bring-
Yeah,
item.
just bring it
Bring
to
it.
the.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions relative to that? I would then entertain a motion to adjust the general manager's salary.
So
So
moved.
moved. And second?
Second.
All in favor?
Nope, discussion.
Yep, excuse me. Discussion.
Yes, thank you. I'm going to be voting no, so I felt that because I'm probably going to be in the minority, I should explain why. And, you know, it's never easy to talk about somebody's salary, and I certainly want to make it perfectly clear that although I'll be voting no, it's not because I'm not happy with your performance. I think you're doing a wonderful job, Lynn, and that's not the reason why. The reason why I'm voting no for an 8% increase that is not even inclusive of the upcoming COLA of probably 2 or 3%. So now we're looking about a 10 or 11% increase in an employee's first year on the job, after we had already approved, which I also voted no at that time, another 3 or 4% COLA increase just a few months after being on the job, totals to about 13 or 14% of total income increase in just 1 year, which I think is, while I do believe our general manager is doing a great job and does warrant a salary increase, I think 13, 14% in his first year on the job is excessive. And especially given the fact that we have requested and gotten a number of concessions from the rest of the employees in our district, to include pension contribution increases, medical benefits contribution increases from our employees. We have not backfilled positions when they became available and open, and we've outsourced some positions. So in light of all of those cost-cutting measures and those sacrifices that we've asked our district to make, I think 14% in one person's first year on the job is extreme. And so for that reason, while I could definitely support a smaller increase, and I do believe that the general manager is doing a phenomenal job, I just disagree with the percentage amount in 1 year. It's because if you remember during the conversations, at the time that we were going out looking for a new GM, we all agreed that we had a unique opportunity, and one that does not come around very often, to reset the bar. Because our manager at the time, I believe, was one of the highest paid in the area. And we wanted to use that opportunity, which only comes around once a decade, once every couple decades, to reset that bar, and we're now giving it almost all back in year number 1. And that just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Thank you for hearing me out.
Thank you. Yes, Director Martin?
I also agree that our general manager, Glenn, has done a fantastic job, outstanding job. I couldn't have expected anyone to do any better than what he's done. Mr. Snell's point of 4%, 8%, and 2%, 16% in 1 year, that's quite large in my opinion. However, two things that we didn't take into account, and I want to say you did a superior job of pleading your case. You were prepared. You were prepared like you were going to court. You had everything there. Kudos to you for doing that. That was great. You had everything. But what was missing, I think, was how many general managers have an assistant that make about that much as well. And, which is a huge concern of mine, the management team, and years of service. How many years did that person getting to it, how many years did he have as a GM? So, again, I know I'm in the minority, so I certainly, I don't swim upstream, I swim downstream. But next year, that's something, because where do you go from there? I mean, I just don't know the answer to that. Where do you go from there after that big an increase in 1 year? So, that's all I have to say. Thank you for hearing me out.
Very good. We have a motion. We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No?
All opposed?
No.
Very good. The motion passes. And now the resolution relative to the district pay schedule.
That is resolution
1525.
1425. Director Elgar?
Yes.
Director Evans?
Yes.
Director Martin?
Yes.
Director Snell?
Yes.
Director Henry?
Yes.
Thank you.
Very good. I believe that ends the action items.
Is it?
General Manager's report.
Just two quick ones. So the Diamond Environmental Services issue is coming to a resolution. It should be going to the courts in January, and I'm working with our counsel to bring an item forward in front of the board so that you understand where we will end up in that. It's not ready for public consumption at this point in time. And the last thing I had to say was just happy holidays. I won't see you at all before the Christmas and New Year's, so happy
Are we still having
holidays.
breakfast tomorrow, or are you canceling that?
We'll have breakfast tomorrow.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
You better bring friends with you.
Yeah, no kidding.
He will. He's got 5 kids.
I would
Big
test
guy.
test the
right.
food. Very good.
You've heard enough from me.
General Counsel?
Yeah, and you've heard enough from me, so just
Very
Merry
good.
Christmas to each of you, and Merry Christmas, Mike, and we'll see you.
Thank you. San Diego County Water Authority?
At the last meeting, I'm sure you've seen on the internet that we did pass the extension of the agreements with so the QSA is now with the transfer agreement in sync for 2045.
Very good. Encina, Capital Committee, have not had one this month. Policy Committee?
No meeting to report.
Very good. Standing committees?
We did have our Finance Committee meeting, and the notes are enclosed. But what we did go over was PERS, and where we stand with PERS and what we look like, and have a thorough knowledge of PERS, better than they ever had before. It was a great presentation. Wes did a wonderful, superb job of explaining it, as well as our general manager. And also other EPEB benefits, which there aren't any. But interesting enough, I don't know how many people we actually have getting EPEB, and it's, I think, 27?
28.
28.
OPEB.
OPEB, I'm sorry. OPEB benefits is only 28. I thought it was a much larger number. And of course, now that's going to go down year after year after year, and that's going to be fully funded by the end of this year. So that, and that's $180,000 we put into it this year. So next year, not 180,000.
1.8 million.
1.8 million we put into it this year, which means next year, we don't have to put any more money into it. We have that 1.8 million. I'm thinking we're gonna have a water reduction price. Put it towards, no. PERS is our next big one that we're gonna have to put money towards, to try to buy out of that, because we're paying, and I think we're gonna have a presentation on it anyhow, so
Yeah.
I think we'll let Wes explain it, or the GM, whoever. But I think the PERS is what we have to look at. But we're in fairly good standing there, better than most. but still a little bit treading water. So I think the presentation that they give us will be brought out. So it's very, very good, and I thank the general manager and Wes, they did a great job again.
Thank you.
Reports, directors' reports on meetings and conferences?
I do have one.
Yes.
It was asked earlier before Mike was here, we are going to be continuing with the council water utility meetings on the same Tuesday each month and the same time. But they will be at the Carlin Hotel in San Diego, which is, I'm trying to think what the exit is. It's basically Poway, isn't it? It's where the old DoubleTree is off of. That's it, Carmel Mountain Road. And I also wanted to let you all know that the price will be going up to $40. That was the least expensive we could find. We were actually on hadn't had an increase in 6 to 8 years with Stone Creek, and they were not charging for a minimum on the room or for audio equipment or anything. So
What did they would pay for?
we looked at about 5 different areas, and this was the best. So we've booked it for the first 2 or 3 months of the year, at which time the new president may choose to move it. They were talking about taking it further south, but I don't know what we'll do, but that's where we'll be for now. So just wanted you to get a heads up.
Very good. Anything else from any other
And happy
director?
holidays,
Yeah, you
everyone.
want to the bottom one?
That's the one we're on right now,
Oh.
3.6.
I've been getting a lot of memos from DSAL. Are we a member of DSAL?
Cal Diesel?
Yeah.
I believe we are.
Is that conferences that anybody goes to? I never have.
I'd have to look into that. You're interested if you want to attend a conference?
Well, we're in the DSAL business. It'd be interesting to stay on top of it, you know?
Yeah.
Just the thought, they have a conference coming up 1st and 2nd of January.
Whoa, first?
First, I think it's 1st and 2nd, I'm not
That's
sure. I have to
New Year's.
reread it. The beginning of January. But you have to make reservations prior to the 1st of January for sure. Maybe it's the 2nd or 3rd, it's right after the New Year, so. Of course, my time, I'm there for my public, so I can go, but just wanted to make sure that we were members, and it was something worthwhile for us to do, being DSAL partners, so we should be involved in it.
Do they meet here locally?
No, this one is up in Monterey, actually,
Oh, okay.
Oh,
but I don't know if Joe Manager would let me know. and
Well, yeah,
check
we'll look into it.
Thank you.
any other comments from the directors on meetings or,
Good news, I see the EDC is starting to meet again in January.
yes?
So,
Mhm.
They've been dark. That's it.
Very good. On item 4.1 is the Urban Water Institute coming up, as well as the, what's the other one, January 1st?
Oh, yeah,
up?
something I must mention is I got my Christmas card from Liebenheim, but I didn't get one from Vallecitos.
We're frugal.
That's what I said to
Yeah.
him, exactly, Mike.
Well, certain things we are and certain things we're not.
No, valid point, valid point.
And item 5.1, director's comments for future agenda items. Director Sinella? Martin?
No, sir?
Evans? Rick?
I have a comment, it's just happy holidays, everybody.
Oh, thank you.
Right.
Happy holidays.
And I also have, thank you for helping me in these first 2 meetings, and I wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Well, thank you. Santa,
Everyone.
am I getting something for you than a bread box?
Yes.
From you.
We are
We're
adjourned.
adjourned.
Thank you.